Okay, hi, this is Christine from, you can find me at aacslp.com. I am also the founder and one of the admins of AAC for the SLP, and a question came up today about Proloquo2Go and the organization of the program. And some people were saying that it's a little complicated when it comes to the adjectives and the verb folders, and if anyone has done anything. So there are some things that I have done to the program, and some people mentioned that they wanted to see. So I just wanted to show you. So this is the original Proloquo2Go intermediate crescendo vocabulary 7 by 11 configuration. So as you can see, like the main page, I think is really nice. Like I really like that. And the one that I have, which I'm going to show you like this, is the one that I have modified, and the main page is very similar, even though the coloring, I have like all the cells colored in all the way, as this is only the border, but it's similar, not completely the same, but similar. So in the original Proloquo2Go, the way that it works is there's a template here that's like a U shape, and it kind of follows you to all other pages. So that could be nice, but it also takes up a lot of room, and there's not that much actual space for the vocabulary. And then there's usually a next page with additional vocabulary. So that's an additional navigational requirement. And when it comes to the templates, like what I saw is that sometimes people would continue to visually search for vocabulary on a template, because sometimes the vocabulary was there, like stop and go is here. And if you go to places, stop and go is here. But if you go to things and then you want to go to, let's say, I'm trying to find toys, and you want to play with a ball, stop and go is not there. So what I noticed is that the templates were sometimes difficult, and also I did notice that a lot of times people still went back to the main page to use some of these, like the pronouns, even though they were on some of the other pages. So I decided to remove all of the templates. So that's one of the things I did, and I'll show you in a second. But I just want to show you what the person was talking about with the adjectives and the describing words pages. So in the actions page, as you can see, there's a couple of words. I'm not really sure how they decided what should be here. Like open is here, but close isn't here. Um, yeah, I don't know. Should is here, but like I don't think run is there, or some other kind of high frequency words that I usually see in other programs. And then you have this, you have all of these like subcategory folders. And that's what someone was saying is difficult. And I kind of felt that also with some of my students, and not just my students, but really for communication partners and for demonstrating language. It was hard to know where things are, like a thinking word. Um, that's kind of abstract. So, yes, some students may know how, like the motor plan, they might learn the motor plan of some of them, but the adults probably won't. So it'll be harder to demonstrate language, and the student also won't know them won't know how to find many words because of that. So describing words is the same thing. So in describing words, one of the examples that I like to show is that, like, if someone comes up to you and they say, "Oh, look, something is broken," and I have found that that's been an important word. It's not here. We have like a bunch of words here. Clean and, well, no, I thought that was dirty for a second. So dirty isn't there. So again, I don't really know how they determined the words that are here. And then you have to go to so in order to find the word broken, you have to go to more. And then you have to go, so first I'm thinking, okay, broken. Let's see, where would that be? It looks broken, but don't forget, we're also looking at all of the images. A lot of our, you know, AAC communicators may not be decoding the text or comprehending the text. So they're looking at the images, and they're all very similar. So the word broken, actually, I'll tell you where it is. It's under the word it's under opposites. So you have to go to opposites, and that's where broken is.
Broken.
So that's really, not, it's just not very, intuitive. I mean, it's very difficult, right, to figure out. So then the other thing is this page has like a next page, and then you have more. vocabulary there. You have a school link, which has a lot of the same, folders as other folders. So there's a lot of duplicated vocabulary. And I've just found that when there's a lot of duplicated vocabulary, it can be confusing. Not just for the student. The student might learn one way, but then a partner doesn't realize that, and they're modeling a different way. So the other thing is that things, if you go into it, and you go to clothing, for example, again, we have I'm not sure how they determined, all of the clothes that's there. And the other thing, well, this one has the actual name of the category, but I have noticed that a lot of them, let's see, vehicles. Yeah, you see the name vehicles isn't here. So the category name isn't there. And that's to me very important because when I'm trying to use descriptive teaching strategies, one of the things is what group is it? So, not having the category name is a problem for me. So, I want to show you some of the things that I did. So what I did really was I had a look at TouchChat with WordPower, and I'm going to see if I can show you that. I had a look at TouchChat with WordPower 108, and that's really the one that I looked at when I was trying to figure out what I was going to do here. So this is a little bit modified too because I've done some work on TouchChat with WordPower 108. But I really like this configuration. And when you go, what I liked is when you go to describing words, I like the way they have the opposites together. And I've heard mixed things about this, that sometimes it's not a good idea to have opposites together. For some individuals, it could be confusing, they might get them mixed up. So sometimes it's good to have them in separate places. And if you look at some applications like Lamp Words for Life, they are not next to each other. And that is actually pretty good. But I have definitely worked with students where it doesn't matter, and having them together makes sense for them. And it also makes sense for people who are demonstrating their language for the student, who are modeling or using aided language input. So I really liked the way this here was done. So I wanted to do something like that. And then in the actions page, this here is the high priority, which is what Proloquo2Go has as well. And then in the actions page, I also kind of redid this, but it's more like high priority vocabulary is first. And the way that it works with this program is that you kind of then, if you want to say more words, you have to go into the first letter, which I wanted to have a way to not have to do that. The other thing so I changed that in Proloquo2Go, but the other thing with this program is that if you look at hygiene, for example, I liked the way they have things grouped together. I think it's much easier to find things. It's easier for motor planning. So that was another thing that I really wanted to do with Proloquo2Go. So I'm going to move back to now what I have done with this program, which is not perfect. It's still a work in progress. I always catch things. But one of the things is I changed, I'll start with the actions and the describing words. So I put the high priority vocabulary first. And then after that, I did include the subcategory just in case, my student was using them prior, but I've noticed that they're never selected. And then I pretty much went alphabetically. So that's pretty much what I did. So as you can see over here, it just scrolls. It scrolls down. And it's a little hard to tell what comes first and next. What I started doing with another program that I did this with was after the A, I had the rest of the page blank, and then the B started. So everyone that started, every line started with a new letter. So I think that was better. So that's probably the way I would do it in the future. But for this student, he knows where vocabulary is. He knows the motor plan. He knows that he has to go down here to say, he uses visit a lot, which is here somewhere. And he knows where it is. I don't know where it is. But anyway, so that's the actions page. So the describing words page, I really did what I saw in TouchChat with WordPower. I sort of moved things around. And I put things together, and then I put the colors. I also put the category name, more shapes, and shape is here. I always put the category name in, it's kind of hard to see.
Shape.
In yellow. And then when you scroll down again, it's just alphabetically, and I kind of have these breaks to kind of make it a little bit easier. Again, it looks like a lot, but my student knows where a lot of vocabulary is based on that. So the other thing is I do still have the alphabet here as well, A to Z. So, and what I would suggest if you are, I kind of didn't do this and I should have, and now I've done it for another student, but what you can do is you can go to like A, you can copy everything and then go back to the other page and then press paste, and then you can go to B and it will just paste it underneath. So it kind of works out well. I do have to show you one thing though, because if this was another complaint from someone, that the way that Proloquo2Go default is set up is that when you add vocabulary, wait, hold on, I'm going to go over to people. Just take a look what I did with people here. Again, I grouped things together. I like the way, I'm going to show you with characters because this page I didn't do this. I was able to group things together and separate things, but the default of Proloquo2Go won't let you do that. When you add vocabulary, it moves it up, and then it's like you have to kind of swap things, and you can't control where you put things, but you can. And I'm going to show you quickly how to do that. So in characters over here, this page is made that way, okay? So I just put this the name character, because I like to have the, I don't, it's very hard to see. Maybe because of the black background.
Character.
Okay, well, I want to move this over here and I want to like move some things around the page, but right now I can't, you see? If I go like this, the only thing I can do is swap things, right? That's what happens. When I add something, it adds it here. So what you need to do in order to be able to move things wherever you want, you need to go to your pencil and then you have to go to folder. So you go to folder, and then you have to go to contents. So you go to contents, and it's called manual layout for each grid size. So that you have to toggle on. And now we have the option to put things wherever we want. So I'm going to put character over here. Maybe I'll put witch over here and ghost over here. And then I'm going to say done. And now you can see that I could move things around. So that's really important to know. The other thing I did, as you could see, is I removed all of the templates. You remember the templates that were on the other program, the original Proloquo2Go? I removed them all. And you could do that in settings as well. You have to go into the templates and remove them and delete them. And then everything gets moved up. Then you have to go to your folder and contents and have manual grid layout for every single page. Then the next thing you need to do is you need to go, for example, I'm going to go to my, let's see, I want to go to vehicles. Vehicles, usually you'll have a second page and then you'll have to move everything over to the first page. This is after you remove the template. So there are a couple of layers of things that you need to do before you can really get started with moving things around. But as you can see, here's another example of my vehicles page. This is kind of elaborate because my student is very into different kinds of trucks. So, but you know, I separated them by color. I tried to put like bicycles, things like that together, different car parts. But you know, what I really like about Proloquo2Go is that there's so much vocabulary. You know, there's much more vocabulary than many other programs. Like you won't have characters, for example, in other programs, but you have it here, which is great. So anyway, with people here, one of the things I did was like, for example, we have like friend, and then I press it again and it says friend. So everything kind of like, that's how I just did this page. Not that it has to be done that way, but jobs. And then here's if I press it again, it says job. And then here are different jobs. So that's what I did with that. Places. This I took a lot from TouchChat with Word Power. I'm going to show you that again. TouchChat with Word Power. I go to places and you see how they have it all kind of organized like this by building, stores, home, outside, and school. I liked the way that was done. I like the way they have different colors. I think it helps to separate it. So I did something very, very similar. Except I also moved some things from Proloquo2Go had a school page. Remember I was saying how there's duplication? But, you know, if you think about it, the school page, a lot of vocabulary could be put in other places, right? Like countries or in things, space, planets. That is something you could have right under categories, you know? Same thing with the time link. You could have your months and your weeks, for morning meeting or whatever. It could be right here instead of going into a school link and then somewhere else. So I removed the school link because I felt that it was important that my student learn how to get to one place one way, if possible, and that there is not duplicated different pages and links to those pages. So the other thing that I did with this program was that I completely changed the chat page. And what I did here, I looked at Center and Baud. They have these pragmatic pages that I found, which I thought were really, really interesting. I really liked them, and they have them available for a couple of different devices, including TouchChat, and you can like load it in through Chat Editor. But I don't think they have it for Proloquo2Go, so I kind of had to design it. And I modified it a little bit. But as you can see, like these are maintainers. Like, I don't like that. That's cool. And then when you press maintainers, these are more. And this is really from that example from the pragmatic pages. If I go back, I really like the regulation, right? Hurry up. That's a big one.
Hurry up.
My student tells me he gets anxious when I'm taking too long, and I have shown him that he could say hurry up, and then I try to hurry up and get ready for him, as soon as possible. So it's been really great to have that as a regulation. And then again, this is exactly what it was on the previous page. And I just have other things there. There's also like repairs. I think having repairs is extremely important and he's still learning this, to say something like, I don't know. When you ask him something, he doesn't know the answer. Does he have a way to tell you that? Does he understand that he could tell you? I don't know. So he's been learning that. Then manners, is like the usual personal information. This here I got from Proloquo2Go, the positive and negative comments. It's a little similar to the maintainers. So there's a little duplication, which I don't really like that much, but I'm still working on that. But he goes into this and he uses it. He says stuff like awesome. He says stuff, like I'm joking. Like he really does. He's been using it so much. He has a great a teacher who comes to his house, and she really is all on board with AAC, and she does a lot of this with him. And I don't see him as frequently, and when I come to see him, I say something and he'll say stuff like, that's lame, and I'm like, wow, it's like amazing. I'm so excited about that. So anyway, so these are the chat pages. This I really redid. That's pretty much it. Questions is just really what it was before. But I would say that's pretty much it. There's also not a second page. Remember in the other Proloquo2Go, you had to go to second page. And I also added a clear message. So if you look up here, I press clear message, and now the message window is cleared. So that's pretty much it. I think I showed you mostly everything. Again, food, again, it's organized just by how he's not really such a big eater, but things are still there. Lunch foods are still, everything is there. So feelings, I got this from somewhere. I don't know if it was Proloquo2Go or somewhere else. The positive and negative. I don't know how I feel about that, kind of having a negative and a positive feelings, but he does go to this. We talk about things that are scary. And, you surprised. Yeah, but he's doing really, really well with this. And so I really feel like it was the right move for him. But it was a lot of work. And but I do this when I see a student who already has the program, and if they're just not making a lot of progress with it, because I feel that once it's programmed like this, it's good. And Proloquo2Go, the interface of Proloquo2Go is really excellent. I mean, there's so much more that you can do with it than a program like TouchChat. So that is definitely a positive. And there's also much more vocabulary, like I said, but that means you have to organize it. So that's pretty much it. I hope that this was helpful. And if you have any questions, you could find me in the Facebook group AAC for the SLP. Again, I'm one of the admins there, so you could find me there. So you could just look me up there. So thanks so much for watching.